Okay, so this is my little video on how I've been doing Kahoot with my kids. I'm by no means a Kahoot expert, but this is just what's been working for me. So I always just use Kahoots that are always created, and you can do that right here in the Discover. So when I click on that, you can really find a Kahoot about anything. So one thing I've been doing with my third graders is like weather versus climate. So you can search that up. And when I find one, I just click on it. I review the questions. If it seems like it's appropriate, then you can either play it or share it. What I've been doing with my students during our WebEx meetings is I've been doing play, and you can assign it to kids for self-paced learning. I haven't done that yet, to be honest, or I've been clicking teach for my virtual classrooms. And the way that works is you can do classic mode or team mode. I'm finding that classic mode works the best. And I usually just don't even bother with any of these. Sometimes I wish they had the option to take off the timer because for some of my students, especially because they're bilingual, the timer can be a little stressful, but they don't offer that when you're doing it this way. So I use classic. And then what happens is it gives me this code, and I just cast my screen to the kids on WebEx so they can see the code, and I will see them fill the waiting room. When they're all there, I can hit start to play it. Obviously, I can't do that now because I don't have any kids in the room. The other thing I do is if I wanted to share it with my students, I can share it with a Kahoot user, or I can do it right to Google Classroom. I also can create a challenge. So this is easy. I just share the link with the students instead. Obviously, right now, none of my students have done it. We did it today together instead. But if you create a challenge, then they can play on their own or with their friends in their own time. And you just copy the URL right here, which is cool. You could share it right to your Google Classroom. I've just been sharing it out on Class Dojo. That's worked really well for me. In terms of how students see it, what I've been told by my third grader, Megan, who's awesome, hopefully it will bring me, I'm trying to keep it so I'm not logged in. Oh, perfect. The kids don't have to log in or do anything or create an account if they don't want to with you. They can just hit play. And let's go back and pretend I was doing a quick teach. I'm going to see if it will let me do both. Classic. And if my kids hit play, they don't have to create an account. They just hit play. My code is 8954325, and I enter it. Create a nickname. I've been asking them to use their real name so I can kind of keep track of who's getting them right or wrong. And look, on the teacher end, I came up in their screen. What's cool about Kahoot, if they create a nickname you don't like, you can click on it and X them out of the game. So I know some students like to create silly nicknames. I just kick them off if they do that and say, hey, you've got to make a new name. So all the kids have to do when they go to Kahoot, they don't have to create an account. They don't have to necessarily go through Clever. They can just go to kahoot.com and hit play and use your code and get right in on it. Okay, so that's what I've been doing with my students. It's been really easy. If they want to play with each other, they have to create an account and log in. I haven't really worked out the steps for that yet, but I find that this has worked pretty well for me so far. And the kids really enjoyed it. It was very interactive on our WebEx, and we had a good time. And there's a lot of different Kahoots. You can make your own. With all we're doing already, I find that that's super time consuming. If you just go to the Discover, you usually can search out a Kahoot that you like. So I hope this was pretty helpful. What I did is, like I said, I share my screen with the kids. I cast it up there for them. A lot of them use WebEx on their phone so they can play Kahoot right there. Or they can even minimize and minimize the WebEx and open up a new window with Kahoot for some of them. If they can't, what I've been having them do too is use the Kahoot that I'm casting and answer their questions that way on a piece of paper, and they can like hold up for me, which makes it a little bit easier. So it's by no means perfect, and if any of you find out anything that you think is more effective, please let me know, but this is just what I've been using.